Did you hear that?
Yeah, very official.
Never heard it say that. Okay, so welcome everybody. Erin Brasserhouse of Blue Fire Collective. This is our third fireside session. This one is going to be a little bit different today, where we're going to make it, it's an actual workshop where you actually kind of hopefully want to do some of the work for your business or for any other goal that you have. I'm going to introduce Courtney in just a little bit. She's kind of our primary focus today. But I wanted to, as I was talking about the recording, I did want you to know that I have recorded 2 other sessions, the other 2 sessions, and they're going to get uploaded to the website and be kind of there in an archive. And if you're on the emails, you're going to get these recordings. So it's always kind of nice, like, to share that with somebody else, or, you know, if that someone might need it, or sometimes go back to them. So, or if you missed one. So just kind of keeping that heads up on that. And then I'm going to do a little plug, a last ditch effort for this the cycling jersey that we've created here in Steamboat, that I Ride for Good. This is a collaboration of 5 women businesses, women-run businesses, and they're from various industries. But we are selling these to cyclists. Mostly women are really buying them. There's been a few men, but mostly women. Kind of women helping women, in the hope that we can raise some funds for the only residential opioid recovery program in Northwest Colorado for women. So, like, there's literally no other resource. So we've been, people have been excited about that. It's great for cycling. It's cooling. It's actually got a really nice fabric. It's Reprieve, so it's sustainable. Anyway, so if you're interested at all, or you know somebody who might be, they're $110, and all the proceeds are going to go directly to the Kaya House. So one last ditch, because we're going to place that order on the 20th. And then, okay, next up, I always like to look ahead before we get into the now just a little bit. We've got, on July 15th, we've got Simplifying Social Media, kind of for your business. So this is a 4-part framework to posting for business. It is kind of going to tackle, like, some of the anxieties we get around, like, how we promote our businesses. What do I post? How long do I post? How do I sound? Do I sound like an idiot? This feels, you know, really inauthentic. Or, and how can we demystify some of that stuff and just see it as a tool? We have a collective member, Sarah Costin, who's she's a transformative coach, but she's a transformative coach for business. And she's really excited to kind of dive into some of these anxieties and look into our mindset around it. It's really going to be fun and interesting. I struggle with this personally a little bit. So I think that's how it kind of came to be. So if you're interested in Simplifying Social Media for Business, July 15th, a Thursday. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce Courtney. Courtney is here, and I want to get my view changed to gallery. Okay, because I can see everybody here. So Courtney Holden, she is a marketing research consultant. She does amazing work for the collective. Generally speaking, she's going to go into that, but she's also a freelance journalist. And without further ado, she wanted to do this workshop because she wants you guys to talk and work a little bit. And so I want her to go for it. And we're doing Get Smart with Your Goals. Go for it.
Cool. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. So, like Erin and I have worked together a little bit with Blue Fire on strategic planning and content writing process, but we've also known each other for 10 years or so, I think, with me in a journalist role and Erin in PR. So I'm super excited to get a chance to meet you guys and to chat today. And so, like Erin said, our talk is going to be called Get Smart with Your Goals, a workshop for goal setting success. And I would love, if you guys are comfortable with it, to have this be a dialogue. And I also want to spend some time toward the end where we'll actually get a chance to think about a goal and workshop it into something that's not just a goal, but something that we'll actually be able to achieve. And we'll do that using the SMART process. And also, if you guys are familiar with this goal setting system, I'd love for you to jump in with your experiences, your thoughts. I'd love, again, for this to be a dialogue. So, and Erin, do you want to pop up the talk?
Yes,
Cool.
that's my
Thanks.
job. First,
So
get it ready to I think, right? And then I'm going to share my screens.
I'll just do a quick, while she's doing that, I can just outline our game plan.
Do I see this okay?
Mm-hmm.
Was I successful in this? Okay.
So we'll talk about SMART goals, what they are, how to do it. You can go to the next slide, maybe, Erin.
Right.
And then we'll bust out the scalpel, and we'll do some dissecting of our own goals. So if you didn't come with the goal in mind today, maybe kind of be mulling over that as I'm running through this whole SMART goal system. And then lastly, I'd love to leave you guys with some productivity hacks. I'm a total geek on this stuff, and I love the idea of how I can make my business more efficient. And so I want to leave you with a few ideas that I've learned over my 10 plus years freelancing, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you as well. So let's dig in. So goals, isn't this old news? We make goals all the time. New Year's resolutions, of course, are the key time of the year when I'm gonna lose some weight, I'm gonna work out more, I'm gonna grow my business or hire some new employees. But the problem with New Year's resolutions, I think we all know, and maybe we don't even make them because of it, is that so often they fail. I heard this stat the other day that was like 80% of New Year's resolutions fail. And not only do they fail by February. So we're not getting too far into having these goals be a success. And then there's a reason why they aren't successful. And yet, all of us as freelance business owners, goals are integral to us being successful. And I did want to pause for a second on that idea of us as freelance business owners. Like I said, I've been freelancing for since 2012, so almost 10 years now. And so often I describe myself as, oh, I'm just a freelancer, or oh, I'm just a contract worker, or yeah, I don't really have a real job. And I've been thinking about that lately, and it's so wrong. All of us as small, maybe we're small business owners, but we're business owners, we're CEOs, we're principals. Like Erin, you call yourself a managing partner, we're solopreneurs, we're entrepreneurs, we're business owners. And I think if we think of ourselves that way, then we approach clients differently. I think we have a different air of authority. I think that's really important. So that's my soapbox, but I would just encourage all of us to own that. Okay, jumping off my soapbox. With goals. Too often, I think it's too much talk or ideas or brainstorming and not enough action, not enough achievement. So most of today, I want to spend talking about how we can set goals that we'll actually reach. And when I say that, that doesn't mean setting just going after that low-hanging fruit. It doesn't mean just setting easy goals. I think what's important to this is having a framework for our goals that will push us towards success. And if you don't succeed in your goal, using this framework, you'll have a very clear picture of, okay, I came up this short and this is where my next goal should be. This is what I need to strive after next. But before we go into any further, I think that I would love for this to be a little bit of a networking opportunity for all of us. So if you guys are game, can you do a quick introduction of everybody? Maybe tell us your name, if you're up for it, your favorite podcast, what you do, what's something you're uniquely gifted in. This is a term that I heard recently that I love. And that would be something that what about you is that compiling all of your unique experience and the things that you're maybe just naturally gifted in. If you roll that all together, what's something that you're uniquely gifted in, something that nobody else in this world is? And then lastly, if you have a goal, or as the rest of us are talking, maybe you can think on that, but what goal did you bring in today if you're open to sharing that? So for me, I'm Courtney. My favorite podcast, I love How I Built This with Guy Raz. It's one of the NPR ones, and it talks about how businesses grow. And, it's always a very similar arc of, oh, I started small and got big and then something happened, but they're always very encouraging as a business owner. What do I do? I'm a content strategist, a market research strategist, and a freelance journalist. I have about 10 years background in both writing and market research. Something I'm uniquely gifted in is seeing themes emerge and finding trends. And the goal that I brought in today that I'm gonna use as our example workshop is I want to grow my client list. So Katie, would you be open to telling us a little bit about you?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you have these questions written out. So as you're listing them off, I'm like, that's a lot to remember.
I thought that would be easier.
Thank you. So I'm Katie. I am calling in from Guilford, Connecticut. My favorite podcast right now is, I'm going to say, Maintenance Phase, where they debunk and break down a lot of fad diet stuff and diet culture and kind of health in general. So that's been a really good one lately. I am an acquisitions editor with Falcon Guides, so I make outdoor recreation books.
Cool.
Thanks. It's pretty fun. What am I uniquely gifted in? That's a big question. So my rapid fire answer, I think, is listening and asking questions and bringing kind of working with people to clarify what their story is.
Cool.
Usually through asking a whole lot of questions. And my big scary goal is I would like to get my first job in public relations. I finished my master's degree in December, and looking ahead, big picture, that's my big goal.
Cool. Congratulations on graduating. That's big. Awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Jess, would you be up for going next?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got my glare on the background, so hopefully you guys can see me. So my name is Jess Feineman. I also like how I built this, but I'm going to throw out there The Ford by Lance Armstrong. I think, although controversial as he has been over the years, he has some really inspiring and interesting guests, and hearing their stories of success, failure, and then success again. So that's kind of fascinating to me. I am an event planner, and I just wanted to commend you, Courtney, on kind of what you said very at the beginning of, I'm just, because I do the same. Oh, I'm just an event planner. So recognizing that and calling it out, I appreciate it, because I'm trying to be better at that as well. Say uniquely gifted. I think I would say that I'm really good at what I do. So I'm very good at task management, deadline, seeing a vision and bringing it to life. But I think what makes me unique to other planners is I feel like I do it in a very calm demeanor. And even if things are falling behind in the background, no one knows. And I have just a very good way of navigating through those bumps in the road without kind of like anyone else knowing about it.
You got game face.
I got game face. Thank you, Erin. That's perfect. What goal did I bring today? Networking, I think I love these sessions that Erin has put on. I think just sort of broadening. I am 12 months into my own business as an event planner. I did it for 15 years with a corporation. So my first year was COVID. So for me, it's just learning from other people and other entrepreneurs and people who are already out there, and just being a sponge, because I am now a one-lady show. I'm doing my marketing, I'm doing my sales, I'm doing my PR, I'm doing my contracts. So just sort of taking it all in and seeing what I can learn from other people.
Nice. Cool.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Jess. Jamie, you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go. Yeah. Jamie Lincoln, nice to meet you all. As Erin mentioned at the beginning, I do pay-per-click advertising work, specializing mostly on Google and Bing, just strategy and execution on a freelance basis as well. My favorite podcast is a really hard question, because I was scrolling through my feed right there and I have like way too many subscriptions to podcasts where I'm getting like 30 new episodes a day and I have to pick very sparingly. I really enjoy history podcasts. So I'll say Throughline, which is yet another NPR production that like uses history to explain the present. I highly recommend that one. But then also like any hockey podcast I'll listen to, or like any sports podcast in general. Probably spent too much time doing that, honestly. Anyways, I'm gonna jump around. That kind of brings me to what I'm uniquely gifted in. I think the first thing that jumped out to me was like multitasking ability. I'm constantly multitasking while I'm working, which I think some people think is either a detriment or an advantage that you have. But like whether it's like podcasting while I'm actually sitting here on my computer working, or literally watching television, or listening to music, or just like working on multiple screens with multiple projects going on once. That's kind of how I work, which is a little strange, but it seems to work for me and I like it. So that's, I think, kind of unique to myself. And I didn't really bring a goal in today, but what also jumps to mind is I feel I'm at a point where I need to scale my own freelancing business up a little bit and probably hire someone for the first time. And I don't know how or where to start with that really. It's a daunting task to me. It's kind of scary to like hand things off the first time as well. So that's definitely a goal of mine in the next year for sure. I'm giving myself a nice long leash there with a year. So, but that's my main SMART goal.
Nice. That's
That's
good.
awesome.
Cool. Nick, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, before I jump in, I'm just going to give Jamie a piece of advice I heard yesterday, an acronym, BSADI, be scared and do it.
I like
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you for hosting again, Aaron and Courtney, for the talk. Again, my name is Nick Paceris. I'm in the Washington, D.C. Area. Do help businesses grow through search engine optimization, organic side. I guess Jamie's on the paid side of things. Uniquely gifted in, I don't know if anything, but at least in person, I'm good at communicating and building relationships with people. And I'm still on the learning path in this Zoom world. So more to come there. And
But
goals.
you jumped right in there with like videos on LinkedIn and like
I'm trying.
You're like,
We'll
you
see.
have a confidence about you that I like want to emulate. I love it.
Thank you. And goals, some things we're going through from a business perspective are really looking at our ideal client persona, what the current customer base is and where we want to be and maybe grow into or excel at. So yeah, thanks for these questions. Good.
Awesome. Cool. Welcome.
Yeah.
Aaron, can we end with you?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Erin Brosterhouse, and my favorite podcast is probably, I'm not like a super big podcast right now. I'm supposed to be so into them and spending so much time, but I do Rich Roll. Do you guys know the Rich Roll podcast? Okay. And they're like 2.5 hours long, and it's always really sporty. And I'm not a vegan. I eat bacon, but it seems like if you listen to him for a year, you like have to become vegan or something. And so I also really like, I've been doing some like marketing toolbox. I think it's called like something like that, marketing toolbox. Like I'm trying to do some business oriented ones. I was doing it pretty well and then I stopped. So it's like, I'm getting super busy because I'm hiring someone, to help me too, Jamie, and I'm scared. Like hiring someone close to me, that's going to manage my stuff. And so anyway, it's hard to let go. I do integrated marketing, which is a ton of stuff, but really I'm coordinating a lot of talented humans is what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to connect clients with talented professionals. And that is awesome and intense. And I'm in my first year of business doing the integrated marketing part. I've been doing marketing or communications for a really long time. And I'm trying to define what am I going to hold on to? What am I letting go? PR is something that is about relationships. I probably need to stay in that, you know what I mean? And just kind of, it's all really challenging right now and interesting because it's growth and it's awesome. I'm uniquely gifted in, I hope, communication and relationship building. And I an ability to multitask like no other also, but I think it's starting to get like where I'm like can't see through it all. So I need to get gifted at giving things away, right? And letting it go on. So the goal I have for Blue Fire really is to get established with the ideal client persona. I would say that Nick and I are kind of in the same boat where I want to have great clients that reflect well on Blue Fire, but I also think I need to be true to who I am and where I've been, and I think gain more outdoor clients like I have with Mystery Ranch, like really great, strong, mid-sized brands like that. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying the new work and creating logos for people and web design, and like this is a whole new world. So I'm learning so much. So, but my goal is to get bigger, retained, and probably outdoor clients, like just outdoor lifestyle.
Cool. Thanks everyone for humoring me. I hope that some of these relationships that we're starting maybe can be helpful for us in our careers, in our businesses. So let's see what's wrong with our goals. I put this kind of in our little description. Tony Robbins has this quote.
Wait, I got too far.
Yep. Back up.
Right, let me go way. Holy mackerel! What happened? Oh gosh, guys. Sorry. Just keep talking. Pretend.
Right, I'll keep talking. So Tony Robbins, if you Google like, oh, what's a good quote about setting goals? Like he comes up, he's the nation's arguably the top life and business strategist. And he says, setting goals is the first step to turning the invisible into the visible. Ted Turner, he says, oh, we should set goals beyond our reach so that we have something to strive for. And this really popular meme talks about, okay, set goals, crush them, repeat. But I would argue that there's some problems with these goals. Namely, Tony Robbins, we're pretty vague there. Invisible and the visible, cool, but can you be a little more specific? Ted Turner, I'm not gonna say that Ted Turner is wrong. He's super smart dude, but that's a super lofty goal, and something that's going to be difficult to turn into something tangible. And then the idea of, set a goal, crush and repeat. That's again, a little vague, sounds good, but let's be a little more specific here. So is it achievable? Do you have a system in place? I want to go into how we can have a system to make our goals achievable. So enter the SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym for having a goal be 5 different things. Having it be specific. You can go to the next slide, Erin. Having it be measurable. Yep, cool. Having it be achievable, having it be relevant, and then having it be timely. So Kat Bogard, who has a really helpful article about this. She talks about a SMART goal as where you build a measurable goal that encompasses exactly what needs to be accomplished and when, and outline how you'll know when you're successful. I think that's really key, outlining how you're going to be successful. This approach eliminates generalities and guesswork, sets a clear timeline, and makes it that much easier to track progress and identify missed milestones. So let's dig in a little bit. So I want to workshop my goal of, I'm going to grow my list of clients. That's our original goal. So let's work with that. So going through our SMART framework, with S being specific, I need to get down into the nitty gritty. I need to think about my goal. And this specific step in workshopping my goal, I need to think about it as like a mission statement for my goal. So I don't need to have like an outline list of how specifically I'm going to meet this goal. I don't need to do that right now. But it is taking some of those W questions into consideration. So if you're thinking about a goal and making it specific, you want to think about what objective needs to be accomplished, who is going to be responsible for the goal. And I think that's especially important, especially like in Erin's position where she's managing a whole bunch of different people and different things and different projects. Who the heck is going to get this goal complete? Where will the goal be achieved? That might or might not be relevant, but thinking about that. And then what steps will you need to achieve it? So going into my goal, we workshop what I had before. So before I had it, I was going to grow my list of clients. Now I'm going to be more specific. Who's going to do it? Me. My business is H&S Consulting. So H&S Consulting is going to grow its list of clients by, and here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to pitch some new editors for my journalism arena. I'm going to ask current clients for referrals. I'm going to attend networking events. I'm going to accept public speaking events, even though they terrify me. So let's go through the next step, and let's make sure our goal is measurable. So being specific isn't enough. We need some numbers. And I think I'm sure you pay-per-click guys, the numbers matter. So making sure the goal is quantifiable so that we can track our progress and know specifically when we've crushed our goals. So looking at our goal and making sure we're thinking about, okay, how many different clients am I going to have? How many, like, what percentage am I going to grow? What percentage am I going to shrink back? And then especially, how am I going to track my goal? So going to that next slide as I workshop this goal. So H&S Consulting is going to grow its list by 8 clients. And I'm going to do this by pitching 3 new editors. I'm going to ask 2 current clients for referrals. I'm going to attend 3 networking events. And I'm going to accept at least 1 public speaking event, even though it terrifies me. And then I'm going to track this. I'm going to make and maintain a spreadsheet that's going to list out which steps I take toward my goals and when specifically I take them. So another important thing with goal setting is making sure that it's achievable or attainable. And again, this doesn't mean just going after that low-hanging fruit. I think it means being realistic and not just setting yourself up for failure. So I think it's really important, and I want to dig into this one a little bit, is thinking about what you'll need to accomplish your goal. And I think this is where maybe we're able to make a specific goal, and maybe we can even be measurable with it. But really thinking, like, what steps do I need to take to achieve my goal? And do I have a foundation? Do I have the tools or the skills necessary to achieve the goal? If not, maybe you need to think about what it's going to take to attain it. Like if I say, okay, I'm going to run a marathon next year, do I run? Do I have time to run? I think it's important to look at that goal. And maybe if your goal is too lofty, you need to step it back a minute. So an achievable goal is going to require that you ask yourself questions like, is this goal something I can actually accomplish? Is this something I want to accomplish? I think that's a really important one. What will I have to sacrifice in order to achieve this goal? And what limitations might prevent me from achieving the goal? So digging into that, maybe maybe I want to grow, I want to grow my business, I said by 8 clients, but maybe that's going to mean firing a client who takes up too much of my time, who I don't work well with, whose work I don't enjoy. That's just a pain in the neck. I think sometimes we need to fire a client. Tim Ferriss talks about that a lot in his book, 4-Hour Workweek.
Has anyone here fired a client before?
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, I'm really serious, because like I don't know. I maybe have, you know what I mean? But like, I never thought about it like that, but has anyone else?
No, but I'm highly considering it right now.
Really?
And I also wanted to say Tim Ferriss's podcast is worthy.
It is. That's a good one. Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to write down what the podcasts were,
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we should, if somebody, I've got them, I can put them in the chat.
And then it's like, what keeps you from firing the client? Is it finance? Is it monetary, or is it like, is it, something else? And I'm always like, those are the kind of things that you have to ask yourself, like, what are you holding on to it for? Mm-hmm. And then like, be scared and what was it, Nick? Be scared and do it. Like, just dump them, we love that, right? That might have to be like one of my social media posts after this. This is my takeaway. I'm like, Nick. Anyway,
I've severed ways with clients before because what they were asking wasn't something I was able to deliver, like especially time wise. If they wanted me, if they weren't going to pay me to be a full-time employee, but they wanted me on call all the time, I was like, you're wonderful, but sorry, I just don't think this is going to work. And I think
that's not right.
Require a client. I mean, when Tim Ferriss talks about it in 4-Hour Workweek, he's very much like, this client was a total pain in the neck. I was spending all my time on it. And I think it was maybe more like not the best terms leaving, but I don't think it has to be necessarily bad terms. It's just like, it's just not working for both of us,
Yeah, totally. I feel like I'm about to enter a new client ship. I just made up a word. Yeah. But that I'm just like, not even, like you kind of get that feeling. You ask this later, I've had peek into this and I'm like, oh, but there's like it's tough. We're always grappling with these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think as freelancers, I don't know, I'm curious how you guys are and what we can, but like, it's hard saying no to money because so often there's like a lump sum, right?
You're not sure what's happening next. Yeah.
Yeah. But so often there's something way better around the corner,
Cool. So sacrifice and what limitations might prevent me from achieving it?
Right. So if I go to the next slide, I'm going to backtrack, right? I said I was going to do 8 clients. I think I'm going to backtrack and say, nope, let's do 5. And if I think about that, it's because how much time do I want to put into this? I love my business and I want to put lots of time into my business, but I also want to have some time to spend with my family. I really like riding my mountain bike. I want to have some time with that. I think a lot of times, this idea of the work-life balance, so much as a freelancer just tips to work, and balance. I've heard one podcaster describe it as like, it's not work-life balance, it's work-life clarity, which is a little cheesy, but I kind of like it because there's not always going to be a balance, and that balance is going to shift. But thinking about our goal in terms of like, what's going to be, actually doable here for me where I'm at right now, which brings us into our R, relevant or realistic. Thinking about your goal of like, what's in it for me, or what's in it for the world. So most of us, we're not setting goals just for the fun of it. There needs to be some type of a benefit attached to that goal, and thinking about like, does this make sense with where I'm at right now? Does this make sense if I'm gonna, not my business specifically, but if the business is, I want to grow by X number of employees and offer all these different widgets. Well, does the world need those widgets? So I think making sure that the goal makes sense for what you want to do, but also what if it's something that the world needs. So this is really kind of digging into that why. So a relevant goal is going to require asking yourself, why does the goal matter to me in my business? Am I offering a service people actually want? Does the goal matter to the world around me? Am I able to commit to achieving that goal? Again, is it relevant or realistic? Is now the right time? Is it like reachable given my current bandwidth and resources? And does it match my other needs or efforts? So if I'm saying I want to run a marathon, but I also want to make $300,000 this year with my business, maybe those 2 goals aren't compatible. So reworking my goal a little bit and saying, okay, I'm going to grow by 5 clients. In order to make this relevant and realistic, I'm going to broaden. Here's my big why. I'm going to broaden my client portfolio, not only because it means more earning potential, but because it also is a safeguard against the unexpected. So if, one of my if I have 2 clients and one of those clients closes their business, or if I'm working with one editor consistently, but that editor takes a different job, I think, it's really important. I think we all know to have, to diversify a bit and to have different clients.
Can I jump in here? Because I bet a lot of us deal with this, like how, so there's growth and you're kind of safeguarding. I like that you brought that up, like safeguarding against the unexpected, but like, when are you growing beyond just a safeguard, and then you're so, you have so many clients, and maybe some are going to be better than others. Like that's the truth, right? There's like great clients that are low maintenance and pay a lot. That's like the best. Everyone has like one of those. Just kidding. Or 2. And then there's, otherwise, but then you might have like lots of projects and then you're like frazzled and crazy, but you're still safeguarding against the unexpected. How can we talk about that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough, right? That balance. And when does it, when are we actually pursuing more and should be saying no? Or is it more like looking for talent to help you service everybody?
Yeah. You guys have thoughts on that? I mean,
not so much.
Jamie, you're grinning. What you got?
I don't really have a thought on it. I'm grinning at the fact that none of us do.
Because we're all dealing with that, right? Is that just like a big elephant? That's like, it's always that. Like, what are we taking on? What are we saying no to? And when is it too much? Because sometimes we're like losing our minds, right? Or
it's a very delicate balance.
You don't
what do
have
you got? Katie, you have something?
It's the balance of the effort and how much it's contributing to your goal. Like I just took on a freelance job. I don't know what to call it. It's the first time I've done it. Just writing for a website. And, I have a full-time job that I'm trying to make this transition and build my experience in this direction. So it's worth it in that way. But last last night I realized this assignment I committed to was way more involved than my initial understanding. I just was like crying at my computer at 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm not doing this for the money. I do think this is contributing to my bigger goal, but in a small way. So I just was like, it is worth it to email my contact and say, I need another few days on this deadline. And I had all kinds of anxiety about that. And of course he was like, okay, sure. So I think just,
yeah,
with different clients, is a client that's gonna take 10 hours of your time, but be really worth it. I kind of hate this expression, but my manager says it all the time. Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Are you putting a ton of effort into something that's not giving you a lot while you're missing out on putting that effort somewhere that would give you more? I think it's hard to tell, but that's probably why the measurable and SMART goals are helpful.
yeah, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I think trusting your gut on that, right? Like, I think we all kind of know, even if it's whether it's a new client that you're talking about, okay, is this going to be a good relationship? If they're right off the gate, like haggling over price or, going back and forth too much on what's going to be
having that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm in the midst of contracting with this really cool new client that I'm like, this has never been this hard. And then it's like, it's this sign.
Yeah.
But when I look at the quality of this client, like, and the image that portrays, I'm like, oh, this is worth it potentially where I am in my business. I'm not sure. So ask me in 6 months.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, weighing it.
Anyway. All right, should we go to the next one?
I love it. Yeah, let's roll.
Timely.
Timely. Deadlines are a good thing sometimes. But I would argue, goals that stretch too far, they're more like dreams. So it's important to have a time frame that keeps us in mind, when we're going to achieve our goal. So that will help us stay on track. So keeping in mind, as we're thinking about our goal, okay, how soon am I going to achieve this goal? Like, what's my time frame? But also, when am I going to start taking steps to achieve the goal? And then allotting some specific milestones or checkpoints to, see how you're doing and to gauge your progress. So I'm going to put into my goal, I want to grow my client list by 5 people, and I want to do it by the end of 2021. And I'm going to start it this June by pitching, 3 new editors. I want to do 1 per month starting in July. I'm going to ask for some referrals, 1 per month starting in June, 1 per month, one networking event per month. Yay, we can kind of do that again, starting in June. And then this counts as my public speaking event. And then as far as my spreadsheet, I need to start that next week. That's when I'm gonna make and maintain my spreadsheet. That keeps me on track. So now, if you guys are up for it, I would love, and maybe because we have a smaller group, maybe we don't even need to do a breakout session, but if you guys want, maybe we take just a couple minutes to kind of think about your goal and put it into this template. And of course, I would love if this resonates with you to think about other goals or to workshop your goal even more. But maybe we just take a few minutes here. You guys all came in with some ideas.
Why don't we stay together?
Yeah, I agree.
Why don't we each just write out the sentence and do our best? We kind of, even if it's not like your ultimate goal, like you really, really have, like kind of didn't share it or something, just like that, whatever that goal was that you mentioned, let's go for it and fill it out and then see, maybe we can kind of like help each other refine it.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Does anyone need to go back to see her cheat sheet for like the specificity? Because you got kind of like, oh, it's by, I'm going to do this in June and I'm going to do one, you know, I don't know. If anyone needs to go back, just let me know.
Erin, you wanna kick us off and other people can kind of wrap up as you go?
Yeah, I don't know if I was specific enough because I didn't, you know, do a perfect job with this. You know, like I think it would take a little more time to really like dive into the smart part of it.
Yeah.
It's not very smart. How about that?
We're gonna dissect this so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I actually feel like I really want and need to do this in a really deliberate way. So I'm into it. Okay,
Yeah.
but so my goal is to grow my client base by 2 outdoor lifestyle integrated marketing retained clients. So like the difference between like I have I have tons of little projects and they're really fun, but they take a lot of time. So like there's an idea about like the monthly retainer, right? You know, it's just it's a lot easier to work with. Okay, and I'm going to do that by the end of this year. I'm giving myself 2 years to kind of like get these 2, because they can kind of create a deeper foundation, like kind of grow the base of the business, and then all the projects can come off the top. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of little projects. Let's see. So the key players, it's going to be, I guess I'm going to call it like my executive team. It's really me and this potential new hire that I have and I'm thinking really hard about who I bring into the tighter circle of Blue Fire. So it's like, these are the people I'm talking about. It's like a little bit of a tighter team that will help me accomplish this goal by in this way. By employing these types of connected people, reaching out to existing clients for referrals. That's not something I actually do a lot of. I've never have really, so that would be interesting. Using marketing tools to market my business, right? Like actually spending some time in doing certain lead magnet activities, or just generating buzz and awareness. I try to do that, but like right now, I think I need to piece it down into times. Like, okay, I'm going to do one a month. Because sometimes I actually have like a lot going on, and it's like makes me a little like overwhelmed. That's where I'm at right now in June 17th or whatever we are. So one marketing project kind of per month, like are focusing on that. One of them is the fireside, and that has been a really great kind of lead magnet, to be honest. And we've had a lot of interest in it so far. So keeping that going, and then trying to move this along. The result, accomplishing this goal, I think will provide me Blue Fire with sustainable growth, with long-term partnerships and improved and deepened relationships within the collective itself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough? Is that specific enough for a goal? I'm not sure, but
I think it's on its way. I think, yeah, being a little more specific. I mean, I think with that one, maybe like it seems like there's going to be some other steps on your way to that goal, right?
Totally.
Mm-hmm. But still, that's good. And that's the beauty, I think, of this framework is like, okay, so this is my goal. And if it is a loftier goal, then maybe you have a few other SMART goals that are like these steps in between, right? And that gap, where there's the gap, then you understand, oh, okay, I needed more time, or I needed to do this, this, and this. I think it's helpful.
Yeah.
So cool. Katie, you want to jump in?
Okay. All right. I'm nervous. Okay. My goal is to land my first job in PR by January 2020. Katie, will accomplish this through, I have 3 pieces: applications, networking, and publishing. And so the, I guess, measurement of that has been kind of in flux over as I've been doing this. I get really focused on the networking piece and get kind of in a role with that. And then sometimes you'll get in a role with the job applications. And then when you get into the publishing piece, it tends to take a lot of time and energy. So I wrote down 2 a month of each of those pieces. I think that would definitely be a working number. And accomplishing this goal will be the beginning of a career with growth and longevity. I kind of struggled with that last part because it's as Courtney was saying with Aaron's goal, it might be one of those big goals that there are SMART goals leading up to. So thinking about what accomplishing this goal will result in is kind of a very big question, but I think of it as the beginning of what I hope is, growth and longevity for a nice long career ahead.
That's awesome, Katie.
Thanks.
I like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Does anybody else want to share before we kind of move us along? I'd love to hear from someone else if you're up for it.
Yeah, I can go. I'm actually just adding more right now. So
Nice.
I'm trying to edit on the fly, but okay. So my goal is to hire at least one person by October of 2021. I will accomplish this by, this is where I was kind of editing. I will accomplish this by analyzing like exactly how much help that I need in terms of tasks to be completed and man hours, how much realistically I can afford with my overhead, and by researching, all of my options, whether this person is local or remote or domestic or foreign, and additionally, as always, utilizing some of my peers who have experience with this type of thing. And accomplishing this goal will result in a smaller workload for myself, ideally less stress in my life, the ability to scale my own business more, and a paycheck for a future employee. I think I need to make my second sentence a little bit more concise, but that's the general gist.
Nice.
I actually appreciated that sentence because I feel like sometimes when you want to hire someone, right, Jamie, you're like, okay, I need to hire him because I'm overwhelmed and I actually do need, but you're almost like will I always have that job for that person? Like you feel like that you're a
Right.
caretaker, and like, and then you have promises that you're making, you have obligations.
Right.
And I think that it's kind of difficult, but in my experience, whenever I've hired somebody or like branched out into another area, next thing I know, I'm like, oh gosh, why didn't I do that forever ago? You know, like
Right.
that, it's only making me more productive and I'm creating more business, or a little bit. I wouldn't say all the time.
Right.
And I'm sort of facing that right now. So like maybe you and I could be like, hey, this is sort of how I approach this, you know, because I'm in the midst of the same thing right now, with maybe two different people. So I'm a little bit like, okay, it's hard to figure that out. And so how do you analyze that?
Yeah, the most daunting thing for sure is the fact that like I've been fortunate enough to never have to go out and like search for clients. They have always either been referred to me or just kind of fallen into my lap. And I'm at the point now where I've reached a tipping point where it's too much work essentially. But knowing that there's someone else who's relying on a paycheck, even if they were to start even just part-time, that is additional pressure of like, okay, well, I need to now continue to probably bring in some more work, which is exciting, but also
Stressful.
kind of daunting and stressful. And to that point of like a few large, awesome clients that you have that are low maintenance, easy, like hassle-free, who provide you with a good paycheck each month. What if like for whatever reason, two of those just disappear overnight? Like that's like a total fear. And like one of the reasons I hesitate right now to sever ties with that current client I'm having issues with is because it's a financial thing. Like they happen to be a well-paying client of mine.
Yeah.
So it's tough to give that up essentially.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of considerations to take with this particular goal.
Yeah. Well, I think both you guys, the idea of hiring somebody too, it's not even just like offloading and having enough work, but all of a sudden your role changes too, right? Like all of a sudden you're a manager and you have to focus more on bringing in the work than doing the work.
Right.
Well, and then there's quality standards. There's quality standards, and well, there's a myriad. Then maybe the work isn't done. It's quality standards, I guess. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Which also scares me of like, oh, it's not my hands doing the work anymore. So yeah. Anyways.
Growing pains.
Okay, what do I do, Courtney?
What do you do? What do you do? Make your goals. I love it. Thanks for sharing, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are Jess or Nick still here?
Yeah, did y'all want to chime in or?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just sent you mine, but I'll read it out loud.
Oh, did you put it in a chat or something?
Yeah, I dropped it in the chat.
Oh, you're so techie.
So my goal is to open up 2 new centers of influence for new business by the end of 2021. Meg, my business partner and founder, and I will accomplish this by focusing on identifying new partners versus new end clients. So that's kind of where we're leaning into. We will look at leveraging LinkedIn, Story, Brand Certified Coach Network, and other avenues to identify these new partnerships, in addition to working better, deeper with existing partners. Accomplishing this goal will transform our client portfolio to higher dollar, longer term clients versus a lot of transactions. So that's it. Yeah.
I like it. Well done. Cool.
Can we, Nick, can you jump into like what that means? 2 new centers of influence for new business.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure it out, but what we're trying to do is to identify. We work, I guess, kind of like you, Jamie. You said you had a lot of new business. We've had a lot of business referred to us from designers, developers, and business performance coaches. So we haven't had to do much finding new customers. They've been coming in, but we too need more coming in. And instead of just going to those end customers and trying to find that business that needs our SEO help, we want to find new partners that are designer, developers, or collectives that, they're already working with customers for different things and be kind of top of mind for referrals. So those are the centers of influence that we're looking for.
I like that. That's smart.
Gotcha. Thanks.
So yeah, thanks for the question.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks guys for going into all that. So we'll go to the next slide. Just I'll run through these super quickly. So a few more tips for goal setting success. Aaron, what was that?
Did it go? That's it, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Sometimes it's finicky. So I just was making sure.
No, you're good. So I would encourage you to write down your goals. There's different research that says actually the act of physically writing out a goal with pen and paper is super helpful. But even just like typing it out, there was a study that I found that talked about people are 42% more likely, like 42% more likely to achieve their goals if they write them down. So write down your goals, make a plan. Obviously this is super key, but make your spreadsheet of, okay, I'm gonna look for these centers of influence, and here are the steps I'm gonna take to find the center of influence as a client. One thing I think that seems like it's pretty integral for all of us, especially as we're looking for new clients, is the importance of taking and setting aside time, like specific time to actually look for those clients. So I've heard before, set aside some time to do that. Like every Wednesday from every Wednesday from noon to 3 is going to be my time where I'm going to do some networking. I'm going to spend time on LinkedIn. I'm going to ask for referrals, whatever. I'm going to look for different speaking events, whatever it might be. And then you can kind of do the Pavlov thing where you have a trigger that's like, okay, and this is my time where I'm going to sit down and I'm going to look for new clients.
Almost like you want to schedule it into your
so schedule it and give yourself like a little reward, like maybe that's my time where I get to go out to a fancy coffee shop and buy my $4 coffee and not feel guilty about it, because this is my business growing time, and that's also like
and maybe change the venue. I don't know if you guys have this, but like the client interaction or the contractor interaction or the there's just a lot pinging, and I have a family too, and it's like, oh my God,
right?
And it's summer,
which
means they're not in school, so it's crazy.
Set regular check-ins. We talked a lot about that. I love this idea of celebrating the little wins, not necessarily just when you actually achieve your goal. There's this research that shows you get a dopamine spike if you anticipate that something is about to happen that's good, like accomplishing something you want to do. So by setting those kind of smaller touch points, and getting through those, you get this dopamine spike that's going to push you on, so that you keep going through with your goal. Mind the language. This is a really important one. So don't say, I'm going to try to, to get 5 new clients, or I might, make sure that it's definitive. I will get my 5 new clients. And you can even frame the goal like it's from the future. So by the end of 2021, I will have 5 new clients. And then if at first you don't succeed, we talked about this before, the beauty of the SMART goal system is that you can kind of see that gap of, okay, well, I only got 4 new clients. What do I need to do? Maybe I say, okay, I'm going to get 1 more client, but I'm going to give myself a month to do it. Instead of that longer lead time. And so then just a few last productivity hacks that I'd love to leave you guys. I love this idea of finding your key top productivity time, and do your deep work then. So I'm a morning person, and I found that kind of like between 8 and noon is when I can dig in and write a lot of words and knock out an article. Whereas if I had to do that from like 9 to 11, maybe somebody else, if y'all are night owls, that's super easy and a good time for you to do your deep work, but I could never do that. So try to schedule your day where you're doing that lighter, less brain intensive work outside of your peak productivity times. Trusting your gut, we talked about that. If you think a client's going to be a pain in the neck, more than likely they're going to be, and maybe give yourself a little freedom to say, it's just not going to work out right now, or maybe you set a time frame on the project instead of having it be
Ongoing.
a super ongoing thing. Always be marketing. Don't just send out your letters of introduction when the work dries up, because that's super scary. You want to always be marketing, even though it feels like it takes up time. Make sure you're doing that all the time so that there isn't that lull. If you have income goals, track them. This is something I've just started doing, but having, setting, this is my goal for the year, breaking that down into the month. If you're super into it, you can break it down into weeks, but then show like, okay, this is how much make sure you're tallying up. This is how much I've made so far this month. This is my goal. And then showing the difference in there, I found is incredibly helppful. And it seems so obvious, and maybe you guys already do this, but seeing like, okay, I still need to make X number of dollars to reach my monthly goal. If it's June 15th and I'm like not halfway, then I know, okay, I need to start pitching. I need to start looking for work. I think that can be super helpful. And I love listening to business podcasts. A couple other of my favorite podcasts are The Deliberate Freelancer. She is awesome. And actually I use a lot of her tips and things for this particular talk. But she just helps with all kinds of different freelance ideas. So I would encourage listening to hers. And then if you're a writer, maybe Jess, I don't know if you're still here or not, but the Writers Co-op is super good. And that's what I've got. And then that next slide is just kind of some different ideas that I pulled from to pull this talk together. So thanks so much, you guys.
Are there any other productivity hacks? I always think that's fun to like.
Yeah. I love
have one that you do.
Have some time.
I would just say, and this is ironic coming from me because I'm trying to hire someone, but knowing how to delegate and doing it is important to your own productivity. But if something like, so for instance, in my what I do a lot is if someone offers me help doing something, whether it's like, oh, I'll like whip up some copy for your ads, something like that, I'm like, sure, go ahead. Like, that'd be great. It'll save me an hour later. So yeah, delegation and like accepting help.
Yeah, that's true. And there are probably, I would say in that, a lot of opportunities in your, the administration, do you know what I mean, of your work life? Like, I mean, I'm talking like the administration of all of it, where you can be like, okay, and how do you ask for it, and how can you get it? And then when you're kind of like, okay, that's okay, I resigned, I gotta bang this out. But otherwise, there are opportunities with both clients to get them to take on more, is what I think you're saying. And or any partnerships that you have, just to say, and really try to be realistic about what you can accomplish, because then you're like, oh my God, I'm not getting it all done. And then you just feel like you're spinning. So, okay, here's credit. This is because she's a journalist. She has to tell you where she got her ideas. You see that?
What format is that credit written in?
It's kind of which one is it? Is it AP? Oh golly, I pull in my grad school action too with the psychology one. I forgot I used to have to use that one too.
Okay, now I need to get out of this somehow and stop sharing my screen, but it's not showing me that. So let me see what's going on here. Come on, Zoom. Weird, it's only showing me, sorry guys. It's like showing me a sliver of Zoom. Do you ever, I don't know why it does that. Let me pull it down. Oh yeah, weird. It's like not the full screen of Zoom for some reason. Oh, sharing your screen, stop share. Boom, it's floating. Okay, great. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us and kind of learning about these SMART goals and like contributing too, because this is definitely kind of a different format than we've done in the past, but I think really productive, and I think it gets us kind of all thinking and motivated, and maybe we at least got some good podcasts to listen to. Just again, there's going to be another fireside happening on July 15th, all around social media for your business. Like, how do you put yourself out there? How do you, one of the things I think is interesting is how do you differentiate the person in the business too? I think that's kind of an interesting topic, but just how do we market ourselves in business? So if you're interested in that, please do join us. We're going to definitely get into some mindset. It's a different approach. So I definitely think it's unique and worthwhile. And lastly, just making sure I hit all my touch points. Yeah, I think that's it. So thanks again for showing up, and have a good rest of the week and weekend.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for
Thank
you
you
so much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Katie.
Courtney.
Thanks,
Cool.
Katie.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Jess. Bye, Nick. Nick already left.
Bye, guys.
Take care.